Hi, Frank McCarron, Delancey Coordinator. I want to have a follow-up conversation on that I brought up 2 years ago, and that's the suggestion I had about hiring officers of color, and talk about what's changed in the township and why I want to bring it up now. So, to refresh people's memory, or if you weren't here, this came on my radar screen from reading the consult report on the 5-year plan. So we consult in their introduction had this long section about the background of the township and the residents of the township. And they gave information, they had a table breaking down by age, a table breaking down by income, what was your education level, they had a table on job categories, who's in manufacturing, who's in this. They had pretty much, it was 5 pages, just information on all the residents, slice and dice every which way. The one thing they didn't talk about was racial demographics. Okay, I didn't think anything of it. But then when you get to section 6, which was the police section, you left the introduction, now you get section 6. First paragraph is, we have a full-time police department, 24,365, only full-time officers, no part-time, we have a contract with Wrightstown. Okay. And then the second paragraph is, of the 20,000 population, the racial demographics are as follows. 87% white, and then here's the breakdowns of the others. And that made me pause, and I said, well, wait a minute. You had 5 pages of tables and introduction. We were talking about the residents every which way, and you didn't think racial demographics was relevant. But when you get to policing of the residents of the township, it's like the most important thing that you hit on first is what's the racial profile of the residents. And so I was kind of surprised. I really wondered how that ever got through. I mean, if I was doing the report, I would never let that go through. But I said, okay, if that's important, then the corollary is what's the racial profile of the police department? And the police department was 100% white. And since eConsult was suggesting we hire 3 officers, I suggested we hire 3 officers of color. So what's changed since then? Well, one thing that's changed is instead of hiring 3 officers in the last 2 years, we hired 8 officers. And that has to do with the disconnect between the police chief and eConsult over staffing, right? So the police chief said, 29 officers, I'm understaffed, I use this core service hours method, and I need 41 officers. eConsult says, at 29 officers, you're not overstaffed, but you're already on a ratio basis compared to other townships in Bucks County at a higher ratio, so we think you're good. But then they go on to say, you have 4 upcoming retirements under this drop program. So to better plan for that, hire 3 officers, 1 in 2021 and 2 in 22. And so, okay, but then that translated to hiring 4 officers, 2 in 21 and 2 in 22. And that translated to 4 in addition to replacing the 4 who retired, except, Sergeant Ambrose passed away before, I don't know if before he retired, but I think so. So we hired 8 officers. And so maybe it was a reach to ask for all 3 officers to be officers of color if you're hiring 3, but if you're hiring 8, I don't think of it so much as a reach. But of course I'm saying this, I don't really know how many officers of color we've hired at all. I'm just bringing this up. Now, the other thing that changed is your Human Relations Commission held a meeting last year, and they invited Karen Downer, who was the head of the NAACP for Bucks County, and they invited her to talk about policing in the township and what the person from the commission said. And so the commission is focused on representation on the police force. So it wasn't just on my radar screen, it's on your commission's radar screen. That's what they said, that they were focused on representation on the police force. And Ms. Downer was very tactful, polite, and she said she was talking to all the township police, all the county police departments, and representation should mirror your county's population and encourage people who attended to talk to their police department about that. So that was on there. The third thing that's changed is the population is becoming more diverse in the township. So eConsult had said the township was 87% white, and that was based on 2019 data. A neighbor of mine is a retired teacher, and she said why don't you look at the school data? You might get some more relevant information or current information. And she showed me how to look, and I did. And it said, based on the children population, it would imply that we were 85% white. And the Census Bureau now says we're 82% white, with an increase in Asian population and people who identify as mixed race. So the population has become more diverse at 82%. You know, with 33 current officers, we should have 6 officers of color. If we implement the 41, we should have 8 officers of color. And I guess the last thing that's changed is that we're not limiting ourselves to hiring from the Bucks County Consortium. I expressed some concern that the way that process was set up, that someone who passed all the tests would then contact the townships that they wanted to be interviewed by. So if a person of color did not want to be interviewed by us, you know, we're a passive participant. But we've actually hired officers from Philadelphia Police Department, according to the announcements I've seen. So that's, to me, a good sign. And I don't think this is like, hey, okay, let's snap a finger, you're going to have representation in police force. I mean, you got to have people who are interested, but it would seem to me that your Human Relations Commission could take the lead on this and work with the police chief to, you know, make a good try to increase the representation. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you know, it just seems that it's something worthwhile to pursue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarron.